What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome into the Bulls Report by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, it's going to be more of a podcast type of show, but we're going to be diving into the latest around Tyler Herro as the Bulls are reportedly interested in number 14 from Miami. I'll be kind of diving into my thoughts on that, then also explaining to you guys why I actually don't think it would be a good fit to bring in Tyler Herro. But let's break it down. So Tyler Herro, the report did come out from Jake Fischer. He tweeted this a couple days ago. He said, if Portland ultimately does business with Miami, the Jazz as well as the Bulls, Hornets, and Nets are considered a team interested in landing Tyler Herro from the Heat. Obviously, we know the latest kind of NBA trade rumors have been about Dame and the Miami Heat, and they have yet to be able to facilitate a trade amongst both teams, and there's more than likely going to be a third team that's going to have to step in and help facilitate that deal, and a lot of people are connecting the Bulls with Tyler Herro. Let's focus in on Tyler Herro, just who he is as a player and kind of my thoughts. I think actually Herro has become underrated in the NBA. Like, we heard the trade reports that the Portland Trailblazers don't want Tyler Herro, which I kind of disagree with. He's a 23-year-old kid who just came off averaging 20-plus points a game. He's incredibly efficient, and he's a great shooter. He's a three-level scorer as well, a great three-point shooter off the dribble and in catch-and-shoot situations. He's also got a really good mid-range. He uses his body really well, and he sets his feet up, and he elevates really high on those mid-range jumpers. He's hit those at a high clip. Also, he's sneakily good at getting to the rim as well. But listen, in terms of his fit with the Bulls, I think the Bulls, if you're looking at the roster, they lack two things. They lack young talent, and they lack scoring. So I actually think Tyler Herro checks both those boxes. Besides, Kobe White and Patrick Williams, this is a pretty older Bulls team. Like, a lot of it is Zach LaVine, DeRozan, Vooch. Those are our cornerstones, and those are our pillars. So maybe Tyler Herro could be that guy. Now, what would it take to give up? Like, the Bulls would most likely have to give up a first-round pick to land Tyler Herro. Now, is that worth it? I'm not really too sure about that, because I think the Bulls have a choice to make. If you do believe this unit could win, like the big three of DeRozan, Vooch, and LaVine, yes, I would be all in on going and getting a guy like Tyler Herro, because I actually think his game would complement them pretty well. But if you would roll out a lineup of, let's just say your starting lineup, you're going to go out there with Javon Carter, DeRozan, LaVine, and Tyler Herro at kind of that 2 through 4 spot, and then Vooch at your center, that would probably be one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. So, listen, Tyler Herro offensively, he's a tremendous scorer. He can do it at all three levels, but defensively, he definitely has his struggles. And I do think if this Bulls team wants to kind of take that next step, and with this specific unit, they would need to add in more of a guy like a Siakam archetype, like more of that Patrick Williams archetype that I think would fit in better next to what the big three they have right now. Because, listen, DeRozan, Vooch, and LaVine, they're all really good offensive basketball players, but they all lack pretty much any defensive intensity or any sort of defensive backbone. And listen, we can kick it back to Miami. What I think the Miami Heat do so well is that their two best players also get it done on the defensive side of the floor. The Bulls don't really have that luxury. So if you would complement Herro with LaVine, DeRozan, and Vooch, I just don't really think their games would mesh that well at all. And in terms of what a trade package could look like for just facilitating this three-team trade, because that's what this is all based off. This is a three-team trade where the Bulls would be that third team that could slide in. The reports are coming out that it would most likely just be a first-round pick that a team would have to give up if they wanted to get Herro to help kind of facilitate this deal. So again, for a first-round pick, I just don't really think it's in the best Bulls' interest to do so, because obviously, the Bulls don't really have a lot of draft capital as it is, and I think the Bulls, if they end up losing games this year, I think they're going to probably be sellers at the deadline, so I wouldn't want to give up any future draft capital if a rebuild is in the near future. I got some more thoughts on this in just a second, but I want to get you guys involved here. Do you want Tyler Herro on the Bulls? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Give me a Y for yes, or give me an N for no. Before we get into more on this, I do want to give a huge shout-out to Prize Picks. Prize Picks is our new sponsor here at the Bulls Report, and Prize Picks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and it's the easiest and most exciting way to play DFF. It's just you against the numbers, and if you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a deposit match up to $100. Instead of battling versus thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you just select two or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats and place your entry. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. And hey, you guys can actually bet on some of the stuff around the NBA season. They projected Zach LaVine at 21.1 points per game this year. I decided to go more. I think LaVine's going to take that another step and kind of be a true #1 in Chicago instead of more of a Batman and Robin with him and DeMar, and that's also why I had to go less on DeMar at 23.8. They projected him at. Then I also decided to go more for Vooch rebounds, which they projected him to do 10.9. So you guys can either ride those picks with me or fade me, but make sure you guys do it at prizepicks.com/CLNS. One more time, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a deposit match up to $100. I'll make sure to put that link for you guys in the comment section and the description of today's show. So let's finish up this show talking about Tyler Herro and the Chicago Bulls. I think it's a fun idea. Now listen, by no means do I think the Bulls are going to get involved in any trades before the season. Like, I really do believe the Bulls have the way, or are looking at this roster right now, and they're going to say, listen, we're going to give this group up until the NBA trade deadline, and that's it. I think they're going to say if this team is bad at next year's trade deadline, let's say they're 5 games below 500, they're going to probably ship everybody out. Now, what if the Bulls want to get maybe a little more aggressive here? What if it's the opposite? What if we go a little optimistic view on this season and the Bulls are 5 games above 500 and maybe they're competing for a top 4, 5, 6 seed in the Eastern Conference and Tyler Herro is still on the Heat and Dame, let's just say, is still on the Trailblazers, then maybe the Bulls could get involved. But overall, I think with what we've been hearing and all the reports in Chicago, I think the Bulls are going to probably steer away from getting involved in a trade. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe the front office thinks that they could actually, kind of consolidate some assets here and, go make a run. Because, listen, this Bulls team with that big three, when Lonzo Ball was still in the lineup, they were #1 in the Eastern Conference. So maybe they think a true point guard in Javon Carter could help kind of push this team past the limits here. But, we're going to have to wait and see. And that's why I'm super excited to get this season underway. We are going to be actually doing watch parties here on the channel where we're just going to be hanging out, watching the game, going live play-by-play, having a couple beers with you guys. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. And I kind of end the show, a little fun Tyler Herro story. So I grew up playing basketball. I grew up in Chicago playing, and he grew up in Wisconsin, and he was on one of the better AAU teams, in the country at the time. It was him and Jordan McCabe. They kind of ran stuff in the Midwest for a little bit. And my AAU team, my sophomore year of high school, got matched up with this guy, and he already had some popularity around his name. So I was super excited for this matchup. And when I ended up playing against him and his team, I scored the first 9 points of this ball game. So I was walking over to my bench and being like, dude, I just gave Tyler Herro 9 points. We're up 9-0. I hit 2 threes and an and one, and I'm having the game of my life. That was short-lived. Tyler Herro ended up giving me probably 40, 45 points the rest of the night, and it was just me on an island guarding him. So I'm very familiar with this guy's game. He gave me the business back in my sophomore year of high school, but it was cool for that split 5-minute stretch I had where I was giving Tyler Herro buckets, but he ended up getting the best of me. So who knows? Maybe he could end up playing for my favorite team, the Chicago Bulls. But it would just be weird seeing him in a different uniform than the Miami Heat, because I do think he embodies, just Miami and Heat culture pretty freaking well. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Heat do, with this whole Damian Lillard saga. But that's the news of the day. The Bulls are reportedly interested in being that third team to help facilitate a Tyler Herro trade. That's why you guys got to make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button here on the channel, because if we do get any update around Tyler Herro, Damian Lillard, Buddy Hield, no matter who it is, we're going to have you guys covered. So subscribe, stay in the loop. Try to get you guys a video every single day up until the season starts. So hit that sub button and lock us in.